بسم الله وبه بدينا ولو عبدنا غيره شكينا وحبذا رب وحبدينا اللهم صل على محمد كل ما ذكر ذاكرون وصل على محمد كل ما غفل عن ذكر الغافلون. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, who was a youngster at the time of the conquest of Makkah, he says that when Allah revealed إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ, when Allah's help and victory, the conquest of Makkah comes, وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا, and you will then see the people, the tribes of Arabia, flocking into the deen of Allah, into the deen of Islam. Such great news, we all rejoiced, all the Sahaba rejoiced. But Abū Bakr as-Siddiq was crying like a small child. And I thought that, as this man, old man, is he gone senile or something, that Allah's giving us such good news. We are all happy, but Abū Bakr al-Anhu, he's crying like a small child. It's only afterwards that we realized that it is only Abū Bakr who fully understood the true meaning of إِذَا جَاءَ. That إِذَا جَاءَ was actually the janazah announcement of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had fulfilled his mission to perfection. He had overcome the forces of kufr. Makkah had been conquered. The Qur'ān was nearing its completion. No more Qur'ān to be revealed. In other words, Abū Bakr was the only one to realize that there was no longer a purpose for the Nabi to walk on the face of the earth, and he would soon be leaving the earth. And that's why Abū Bakr al-Anhu was the only one crying like a small child while we all rejoiced. So this was one of the first signs that the end of the mission was coming, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was going to leave the earth. Several incidents like thereafter, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam appoints Muʿāẓ bin Jabal radiallahu anhu as governor of Yemen. Muʿāẓ radiallahu anhu departs. He is riding on his camel. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sees him off by walking alongside on the camel, besides the camel, sorry. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wants to tell him something, but Muʿāẓ radiallahu anhu, all the Ansar, being Yemeni of descent, they are أَلَّنُ قُلُوبًا, very soft in heart, cannot tell them straight away what it is that has to be said. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam starts by telling him that about how to act as governor, that when he goes to Yemen, there are some people in Yemen who are Jewish, who are Christian, how to treat them, call people towards Tawheed, call people by stages, call them to Salah, call them to Zakah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructs him like this. This is important, of course. How can we say anything from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not important, but there is more that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam needs to say that cannot be delivered straight away. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Ya Mu'adh, wallahi inni la uhibbuk. Oh Mu'adh, oh my son, by Allah, I love you. Imagine to have that word said to you by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, do not forget after every salah to recite, Allahumma inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. Oh Allah, assist me to remember you, to be grateful unto you, and to be good in the worship unto you. Very important dua, very important words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but that is still not what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wants to say to the end. That cannot be said directly to Mu'āẓ radiallahu anhu. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells Mu'āẓ, oh Mu'āẓ, it might be that when you return from Yemen, that you will not pass by me, you will pass by my masjid and you will pass by my grave. And Mu'āz radiallahu anhu understands this is not might be, this is ease. That when he returns, he's going to pass by the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He's never again going to see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he burst out crying. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam turns his face away to give him some privacy as Mu'āz radiallahu anhu is crying. He knows he's never ever going to see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam again. And if it was us, of course, then we get all emotional and we would say that make some excuse. But more than the desire, the personal desire is the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He still goes to Yemen, still obeys Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as much as he's got this promise that he's never ever going to see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam again. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam consoles him that, O Mu'āz, if you are a person of taqwa, then wherever you are right here by me. You can be in Yemen, you can be in Kuwait, you can be in South Africa, wherever you are, but you observe taqwa and you observe Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you are not far. You are there in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So another indication of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam leaving this world. Every Ramadan, importance of revising the Qur'an for those who have memorized the Qur'an, and those of us who have not, what little we know, at least memorize that. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had to memorize. Every Ramadan, Jibrīl alayhi salam would make Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam recite whatever Qur'an had been revealed. We know every other book had been revealed jumlata wahida, completely at one time. Qur'an is an exception. Qur'an was revealed stage by stage over the 23 years. So whatever had been revealed up till that Ramadan each year, Jibreel alayhi salam would make Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he must recite that once completely, so that is part of the memorization and perfection process. Now, this year, the 10th year of Hijrah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam recites the whole Qur'an to Jibreel in Ramadan. He finishes and Jibreel instructs him, recite again. That never ever happened before. Was always reciting the Qur'an once. From that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam understood that this was his last Ramadan, that he was never going to see another Ramadan again. It was an indication from Jibreel alayhi salam, your last Ramadan, Qur'an has to be in order now. You're not going to see Ramadan again. We discussed that Makkah Mukarramah was conquered in the 8th year of Hijrah. So obviously in the 8th year of Hijrah, the Hajj was in the control of the Muslims. The 9th year of Hijrah, the Hajj was in the control of the Muslims. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not go for Hajj either year. Every other year we can say, no, the Quraysh were in control, they didn't allow him. Here when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the ruler of Makkah, he did not go to Makkah for Hajj in the 8th year of Hijrah and the 9th year of Hijrah. Annual Hajj, going every year for Hajj, that is not the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam knew he's not going to live to see the Ramadan of the 11th year of Hijrah, or obviously the Hajj. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the 10th year of Hijrah, announced that he is going for the one and only Hajj that is recorded in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that he went once for his fard Hajj. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam made this announcement, and over 100,000 Sahaba joined Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in this Hajj of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And those Sahaba who record the events of Hajj always say that the way Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam spoke throughout the Hajj is like a person was very anxious, bidding farewell, teaching this very anxious, learn this from me, I might not have a chance to teach this again to you. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was very anxious. Every moment of Hajj was also like a farewell to the Sahaba, until at the khutbahs Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave, there was actually more than one, which is why you'll find different versions, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't just give one khutbah during the Hajj, he gave more than one, but most of them have the same kind of theme of we are all Muslims, we all need to be brothers unto each other, we need to look after each other, we need to care for each other. Those kind of things Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke of. And with that is also where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very categoric that Muslims do not get involved in interest. It is a very filthy practice. It is a practice of the Jews which enslaves mankind, and those of us who get involved in it, do your utmost to get out of it as soon as possible. Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has declared war against those who are involved in interest. But what hit the Sahaba, what broke their hearts, was again when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it so clear that they are not going to see him. When he said, Ayyuhan nas isma'u qawli, O people, listen to my words. فإني لا أدري لعلي لا ألقاكم بعد عامكم هذا في الموقف هذا أبدا. For I do not know if I shall ever see you after this year in this place ever again. In other words, Sahaba understood this is the last few moments that we are spending with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam returns to Medina and he goes to Uhud and he makes dua by the martyrs of Uhud, again in such a way that this is the last time I'm ever going to be here, a dua of farewell. We'll continue tomorrow, inshallah.